All right, good morning, everybody. We are going to start with a brief opening statement from Coach. We've got microphones as well for the press for the questions after, so we'll start with Coach and then go from there.
Excited to play North Carolina. We're playing our first ranked team of the year. We understand that Coach Brown's got a great crew up there, and it's going to be a hostile environment. We're disappointed about the loss. Obviously, last week it was a difficult one, but we're going to learn, we're going to grow from it, and we're going to move on. Having the team in here, basically yesterday, that we have to put this one to bed and move forward because we still have a heck of an opportunity in front of us, and we've got a doggone good opponent. So, questions?
I'll start with Emily right in front.
Dino, just what was the biggest thing you felt like you learned from last game after getting to watch tape back this weekend?
The biggest thing was we just played tight. We did not play as loose as I thought we would play in that situation. I don't know if it was the crowd but a lot of younger guys played kind of young, but it was surprising that some of our older guys had some mishaps as well.
Go to Chris right here, and then we'll go to Henry in the front row as well.
Dino, Justin Barron didn't look like he finished the game. Do you have any update you can give us on his status?
No update. Hopefully he's going to be okay. He did suffer a thing, but we got to find out if he can, one of those deals he can play or not play with it.
And do you expect any of sort of the wide receivers, Isaiah, Trevor, Dan, to be receiving options, sorry, tight ends too, but to be back this week?
Hopefully, but I don't have any word on those guys. That's day-to-day stuff, week-to-week stuff with those guys.
Valeri's week to week.
Say that again.
Dan is
Lowry?
Yeah.
Larry?
Yeah.
Larry.
Sorry.
He should be okay. Yeah. You put too many of them in there together.
I wish I didn't have to.
Me too.
We'll go Henry right here on the right.
Coach, last time you played North Carolina, they had a hyped-up draft prospect in Sam Howell. You guys play the Tar Heels again with another quarterback who's looking to go to the NFL draft in Drake May. Do you see any similarities between the two quarterbacks, or they seem almost entirely different?
No, this will be the best quarterback we played this year. And obviously the guy last Saturday played extremely well. But, this guy is different. He's going to be an NFL guy. And he's what makes that team go on offense. And he gets his playmakers the ball in situations where they can make plays, and that's the reason why they're a very explosive team. They score a lot of points.
Yeah. What are just some of his best attributes as a passer?
He's accurate, he's tough, and he's still mobile.
We'll go right down in front to Brent and Emily again.
So, Coach, as it turns out, you have one home game from now until basically Thanksgiving. I know you don't make the schedule, but how does that affect going forward your week-to-week planning, knowing you're going to be away from home so much, if at all?
We're going to have to adjust and improvise. It's obviously, some people would say that's an extreme negative, but think about all the home games we had in a row. That was an extreme positive. We're 4-1, and we're almost halfway done with the seasons. We're not perfect, but we almost are. And now we've got to go on the road and play some really challenging games against some really highly ranked teams with some fantastic athletes. And it's going to be challenging.
What kind of insight does the league and the league's television partners get from coaches on this kind of stuff in the offseason?
From this coach, absolutely none.
Do you wish you had more?
We all wish we had more.
Stay in front with Emily.
Going back to Drake May, he and Garrett share a QB trainer down in North Carolina, I believe. Just what is that like, knowing the QB you're going against maybe has some of the similarities to your own QB, and how does that help your defense this week?
Well, I don't know how much it helps, but their games are similar. They're both mobile. They both can throw on the run. They both can sit in the pocket and take shots. And I think they both have an opportunity for NFL careers if they both stay healthy. So good trainer. Probably he's a good recruiter, too. He's got a good eye.
And then just sticking with Garrett for a moment, is he still feeling good after kind of that early hit over the weekend?
He was sitting 2 chairs to your left Sunday, and he looked great.
We're going to go all the way and back to Maddie now.
Coach, you talked about upping the ante after the game on Saturday. What exactly does that look like for you guys in practice this week heading into Saturday?
I think the biggest thing is the commitment factor. We didn't play well on Saturday. I mean, we lost to a good football team, and they have a lot of athletes, and they're well coached, and we all know about Clemson. But we didn't play well, and that's disturbing to the family, and we need to make sure that we put our best foot forward. We only get so many opportunities. It's not like basketball. It's not like baseball. And when you get an opportunity and you get a stage like that, we need to perform better.
We're going to Tommy right here.
Coach, looking back at the start your team had in the Purdue game, an away game, a raucous crowd, is there anything that you look at that game and say to your guys, let's try to do this again coming out?
You know, I think everything is kind of different, but obviously you would like to start fast. You know, our last opponent had an opportunity to start fast. That always helps because the home team is always going to make a run at the end. So if you get out early like that, you get an opportunity to relax. And maybe with the guys we have in the room, that would be very effective. But everybody's trying to get out early. The other people are trying to stop you from getting out early and having early momentum.
And you pointed out where Garrett was sitting. In the full room, how many do you think you could get right if you could say right now I knew exactly where everyone was sitting?
No, there's too many of them for me to get everybody, but there's certain guys, and the conversations were geared to certain people, and I can visualize where they were at. I'm sure they can visualize where I was at too, and I wasn't behind this thing. I was a lot closer than that.
We'll go Chris in front and then Jesse in back. Start with Chris.
You know, saw Kalen and Joe for the first time. How do you go about this week, both putting in a game plan and trying to figure out who your best five are?
Whoever's going to suit up is going to suit up. We don't know who we're going to have available. Some of those injuries, again, change from week to week, day to day. Hopefully we'll have them both, but the game plan we have to put in regardless of that. So we have to operate like they're not going to be there, and then if they're there, it's a bonus.
Jesse.
Dino, you mentioned some of the younger guys and some of the older guys maybe not living up to the moment on Saturday. How can you as a coaching staff mentally prepare those guys maybe just a little bit better to live up to, you know, big moments like that, knowing there's still going to be a heck of a lot more of those coming down the pipe this season?
We got to put more stress on them. I mean, the game has got to be easy and the practice has to be hard. So we're going to have to increase the tension in practice so that when they get to the game, it's easier.
Coach Leon Lowry had 2 sacks this past game. What have you seen from him? How has he improved throughout the season? And what do you want to make him like a starter to start the season?
He is one of those guys that he changed his body from spring to the summer, and from the minute he came on the field during August, you could see that he was out to get something. And he's been determined ever since. He hasn't been doing it with this. He's been doing it with this. And when you do it the quiet way, not the loud way, normally everyone seems to see and hear what you're doing. But couldn't be more prouder than Leon. And I'm sitting here smiling because I'm leaving the Dome on Saturday and I'm not in the best of mood. Probably just got through talking to most of you guys. And saw Leon outside with his mom, and his mom turned and, "Coach," and I'm looking at her. And then I was about to drive off, and I just stopped and rolled the window down, and she looked at me, and I said, "He's doing really good. Don't you worry about it. He's doing really good." And she got the biggest smile on her face. But it's all true. He's doing extremely well right now.
We'll just stay in the front row and go Wyatt and Michael right after each other.
Coach, there were a few deep passes that were completed on Saturday. How do you feel like this defense can kind of shore that up and avoid that against Drake May in a good passing attack?
Well, it's going to be fun to see because they're going to throw it deep, and we're going to cover them deep, and we're going to have to find a way to get that done. But that's part of the game. That's part of our style. That's part of their style. I don't think they're going to deviate, and I know we're not going to. So, tune in because it's going to be good. Somebody's going to be smiling and jumping up and down, and somebody's not.
Michael?
I know they're still listed in the twos right now, but Jane Bellamy and Jane Gold, we've both seen have some increased time these last couple of weeks. What have you seen from them specifically that's led to the increased playing time?
Well, I think the biggest thing is sometimes it comes down, a guy gets an owie and you have to go to the next guy, and now it's like, okay, how are you going to do? We had the earlier games during the season where we got to play a lot more people, which was unusual around here based off of our non-conference schedules in the past. So we did get to see some flashes to maybe some guys that we may want to go to if certain things arised. Those things did arise, and they got into the games. And for the most part, they both did okay.
For the opposite, now front row on the left.
Coach, Elijah Clark was all over the place on the field on Saturday. How have you seen him grow as a player and a leader on this team this season?
You know, again, it's interesting. You get, we've gotten transfers from big schools coming down and little schools going up, but he's really bought into the culture here. And obviously a very intelligent guy coming from Dartmouth, but he's really bought into what we're doing. For him to even be voted a captain is big. That's big. But he's earned it, he deserves it, and he leads in everything he does on and off the football field.
Go to Citrus.
Coach, Mack Brown has had such incredible success over the course of his career, from Texas to North Carolina. What has he done so well over so many years to have such success as a head coach?
I think the biggest thing is Mack is a communicator. He also did extremely well in the media part of it too, when he was on TV doing all that stuff for ESPN. But he's a fantastic communicator, and through that he gets people to people who enjoy him, players who enjoy him, which makes him a good recruiter. And he's a good, what's the word I'm looking for? Good face of a program. So he's one of the icons. He'll be one of the Hall of Famers when he's all done.
We'll go front row middle now with Chris, and then Emily after that.
I know you called Zaire Franklin uncuttable before he went to the NFL, but there was a highlight where he chased down Lamar from a couple weeks ago. I don't think he could have done that when he was here. Are you at all surprised that he's all pro, caliber, having an all pro caliber season?
I had some media guy from the Indianapolis Star absolutely rip me publicly for making that statement. And basically he was a 7th round draft pick, I believe, and I've been around a lot of players, 39 years. I know let me tell you a different story. Let me tell you a story when I came here and I had one of our fans came up and said, "Hey, I know who one of your captains are going to be for you." And I said, "Who?" And they said, "Zaire Franklin." So I didn't even know Zaire at the time. And I said, "Well, that's nice. We're going to vote on our captains. I'll keep that in mind." And then I met Zaire. And I want to say he was either 14 or 21 days later, he was a captain. I mean, once you meet the guy and you watch him, he's not normal. There's not a lot of people like him. And he stands out. His leadership stands out. His play stands out. And it didn't matter whether he was a free agent or a walk-on off the field. When you see a guy like that, you're not going to cut him. In fact, what you want to do is duplicate him.
Thank you. You can pass it right next to you, Emily.
Miles Farmer earned a spot on the depth chart this week behind Justin, I believe. Just what have you seen out of him specifically since he joined you guys in August that got him on that place?
He had some catching up to do. He's been working really hard. He's been working on the special teams, been doing the right things, coming to meetings and learning, and now he's getting some opportunities. He also played the week before against Army, and maybe not so good on one play, but you could see that he's constantly getting better and he's improving. So he played a lot better. He made some plays in the Clemson game, and I'm sure he's going to get some more opportunities.
How do you feel like he fits just into kind of the overall profile of what your secondary is right now?
I'm not sure the first thing that you said, Emily. I'm sorry.
Just how does he fit into kind of your overall secondary and the profile of who they are right now?
Well, we like them taller so they can have range, so they can cover. They have to be able to tackle the bigger backs, and some of the bigger backs that will be coming up in Shipley was a bigger back. So they're almost part linebacker, part DB, so they're very skilled athletes. And he fits the mold of the guys that we're looking for.
We'll come back right here with Wyatt in the front row on the right.
Can you kind of explain the extent of Jason Simmons' football IQ and how he's able to process the game and how that can help in these tough matchups against the pass attack?
Well, his father's a pro, so he grew up in that atmosphere. When he came here, he had a really good head on his shoulder as far as the background part of the game. So it's just a matter of then just buying in and telling him, exactly what we want him to do, and then him going out there and executing that. And he's done a nice job with it.
Okay, a couple more for Coach. We'll start with Brent right in front, and then Michael to wrap us up.
Coach, since Saturday, have you received anything from the ACC in terms of an explanation on the call on Garrett and the targeting and just the process of that? And did you submit it to the league for review?
I did not submit it because I watched it on the TV copy. The TV copy had a very clear picture of the play. And based off of what I saw, I didn't feel like they would reverse the call, even privately. So I had better things to do.
And then Michael, last question.
Coach, we've seen a lot of Demarcus Adams in special teams this year, not quite as much as far as a receiver. With some of the other injuries in front of him, do you anticipate him maybe starting to see some more snaps lined up as a receiver?
I'm giving away some stuff, but yes, I do. I mean, based off of the injuries, we're getting thin out there, and I do see him increasing his role as a receiver for us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
I will come around here.